So we're going to continue with our first set of questions. And our first set of questions deals with this formula right here, y equals kx. So we're going to be focusing on this formula. And what do you need to know about this formula? What you need to know about this formula is this right here. Your constant is going to be the number in front of the x. So whatever number it stands in front of the x is going to be your constant. So let's read this problem. The equation y equals 10x represents the money y. So it's telling you whenever you see a y in this problem, it means money. So the equation y equals 10x represents the money y Julio earns for working x hours. So look right here, it broke down what x is. X represents hours. So once again, I'm going to say it again. The equation y equals 10x represents the money y Julio earns for working x hours. Identify the constant of proportionality. So they want you to tell us what is the constant. So realize that this is the equation setup. Y is equal to your constant x. So look, y is going to be y. X is x. What's in the k position? Whatever's in the k position is your constant. So in this situation, really easy. That's it. That's my constant. Your constant is 10. That's it. That's all you have to do. Identify the constant, which is going to be in the k position. Now let's break it down for this problem. Y represents money and x represents hours. So look, you're multiplying 10 with x, and x is hours. 10 with hours. That means that basically what the constant means is you're getting paid $10 every 1 hour. So that's going to be how you break down the constant. Okay, now let's do some quick examples just so you guys understand. Identify the constant. So once again, we want to identify what is our constant. If you look at each of the equations are written in a y equals kx format. So in order to identify your constant, you're just going to ask yourself, what is in the k position? What is in front of the x? There you go. That is in front of the x, so your constant is 1.2. Now let's do the next one. Y equals kx. So once again, you're going to ask yourself, what is in the k position? What is in the constant position? It's the one in front of the x, which means your constant in this situation is going to be 1 over 12. You realize it could be a decimal. Your constant could also be a fraction, and your constant can also be a whole number. So don't let decimals and fractions intimidate you. If it's still in front of the x, that means it is still going to be the constant. Now let's look at this one. It looks like it's in this format. However, if you look carefully, there is a problem. Sorry, I wrote the wrong thing. Let me cross that out. So it looks like it's in this format. However, if you look carefully, there's a problem. See, x matches the x. So k looks like it's going to be 12. However, y matches the y, and then guess what? We have an extra 4. So there is a problem that we have to fix. And we're going to do this with algebra. What you have to figure out is, I need to get rid of that 4. I need to make sure the 4 goes to the other side. I want the 4 on the other side. So in algebra, basically what we do is, if we want to separate a number from a variable, you're going to do the opposite of what you see. So in this situation, let's put a barrier, because your equal sign tells you that whatever you do on one side of an equation, you have to do the same thing on the other side. So what we're going to do is, I want to get rid of the 4. This is multiplication. When you have a number attached to a variable, that means multiplication. I have to do the opposite of what I see. If this is multiplication, the opposite will be division. So I'm going to divide by 4. Now, this barrier tells you that whatever you do on one side, you must do the same thing on the other side. So if I divided by 4 on this side, I have to also divide by 4 on this side. So now what's going to happen is the same numbers are going to cancel out because they're opposites. You're left with y by itself. Y is the only thing left over on this side because these cancel out. Now, 12 divided by 4, it's easy. What's 12 divided by 4? That's 3. And then the x can just come down because you didn't do anything with the x. So now, we got rid of the 4, but technically we didn't get rid of it. We just moved it to the other side by dividing it, and that gave us 3x. So guess what? Now we have it in our y equals kx format. So now you can tell me y is y, x is x. What is your constant? Your constant's going to be 3. So be very careful when you have a number in front of the y, because that means you're going to have to divide that number on both sides. And then you can figure out what your constant is. Now, one more example. In graphs, it looks complicated, but it's not, because usually when you have something in a y equals kx format, that basically is a linear equation. That means that this is an equation of a line. So whenever you have a straight line on a graph, that means that it is represented by y equals kx. So if you look at this, that means that this graph is y equals 2/3 x. This is a linear equation. Now, how do you find the constant? Same concept. You're going to do y equals kx. You can use that one. So what is in your constant position? That's 2/3. So your constant for this graph is 2/3. And that is how easy it is to identify constant when we're using the y equals kx format. So that's it for this part of the video.